Good morning, everybody. Today's conversation is going to be about how long do we think eBay should take each day. So answer in the chat, or if you want to go over it in person, we can talk about it on video as well. Landon, can you start us off? How long should eBay take you every day?
Obviously obviously variables depending on where you're at, what life throws at you. But I think realistically, I've really been, as cliche as it is, like really focused on cutting down processes. I heard Paul kind of touch in on some people in the chat yesterday, and I can tell he's getting the bug of just the processes, just cutting stuff out. And we were talking about how it almost becomes addictive. And honestly, I think once you have sourcing, once you have, the sourcing and the inventory down, and you get the photos going, I could honestly be done before, if I was sourced and prepped. I could be done before my wife and kids woke up if I was on the ball. I got to be honest, but I'm also not listing 250 a day. I'm listing like 10 a day. But I'm trying to like really build a draft bank. So sometimes I'm trying to throw, if not 5 or 10 in my draft bank, so I can crank up the numbers and be able to keep them up when I hit them. But honestly, I think for the average, I think by noon. I know a lot of people say by noon. I think kids are not. I think you should be able to be done by noon.
What time does your wife wake up?
She wakes up at 7. I have lost when I first got in the group, I was getting up at 5 every morning. Now I'm back to like the 7. I've got to change that. Luckily, I do have the day. It's an excuse because I do have the time for the day, and everybody leaves. It's just me here. And if I'm sourced, I'm fine. But there's other things that I could do in the eBay world to, keep it moving, or I could be doing art after 12. I could be working on a website, building my own thing after 12. So I'm trying to really keep that in mind. I haven't really pushed that yet because I'm really trying to redo the eBay right this time, and then kind of do that like I'm doing the eBay.
Does your wife work a job?
Say that again.
Does your wife work a regular job?
Yeah, she's a hairstylist.
Okay. I remember. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Let's go with Steve F. Good morning. How long should eBay take you each day?
A lot what Landon said, it depends where you're at. If you have all the systems in place and stuff like that, maybe 4 hours, but that's not counting sourcing.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm not asking like what regular people, I'm asking you specifically. So like
6 hours.
You can take all day to list one listing, but I'm asking like you specifically, Steve, for you personally, how long do you want it to take?
6 hours.
6 hours? And then do you spread it out, or you do it all in one 6-hour shot?
I spread it out and as I go through, but and I take probably about an hour break in between that, take the dogs outside, let them do their thing, make a sandwich and come back down.
That's great. Okay, I love it. So 6 hours, that's not bad. Okay, that is good to know. Let's go with Catherine. Catherine, good morning. Remember, we built your schedule before, and I think it should take less time now. How long does it take you now, and how long do you want it to take you?
Well, it used to take me all day, and I was listing at night, and then we did that schedule. And now I'm done like mid-afternoon, and I'm working on trying to get done by noon. So one thing that I started to do just recently was, during this call, I'm listing some items so that after the call, I ship, take pics, and then when I go to list, I really only have half or so listings left to do, and it doesn't seem as overwhelming. And that's helped me make it a little faster.
Okay. And are you happy with being done by noon?
I'm not done by noon yet. I'm done by like 2 to 3, but even that's better than listing at night when I'm tired. And yes, So if I could get to noon, that'd be amazing. But I also want to increase my listings. So it's a balance.
Okay. And let's see, and your listing goal is how many?
I'd like to do 30.
Okay,
I'm at 20.
okay, that's great. I think that you can increase the number of listings without increasing the amount of time you spend on eBay by just getting better at it. And that happens over time. I think eBay might be one of those things that you have to put the time in, it just doesn't go any faster. So
And it's
that's
also,
all.
I'm still working on narrowing down my niches. So that'll speed things up too once I get more streamlined.
Okay, sounds good. Seth, what's up? When would you like to be done and how long is it taking you now? Hopefully you can chat.
Yeah, right now I'm working probably like 10 hours a day, 7 days a week on it. It's because I got a lot to do. So, because I went full time in June last year.
Mhm.
So I just been trying to master that 50 a day. So I kind of grew too fast, but that's where I need to be at. So right now I'm just slowing down and learning how to list on the desktop right now, because I was a phone lister forever, since for about 10 years I've been doing it on my phone. So
Why do you want to be, or why do you need to be at 50 a day?
I'm pretty comfortable at 50 a day. I mean, I've been doing it for about 9 months. I kind of hit some roadblocks, like with my phone, listing on my phone. So now I know the roadblocks on those. So, but yeah, just the income. That's the
I see.
income I need. So it's been bringing me the income that I need. So I need to stay at 50. So
Do you drive a Lamborghini? Why do you need so many? That's a lot. That's a
most of a lot of my items are low. Like,
oh, I see.
yeah, they're
Okay.
low ASP. Yes.
Are a lot of them similar so you can do a similar listing, or is it how long does 50 take you?
Well, that depends. Like on the license plates, I've been doing license plates for 10 years, so I can list 40 of those in an hour. And then I do patches, keychains. Most of those take 20 an hour. So I got a lot of distractions too. So I've been working through as I'm full time. So locking down my schedule and all that.
Can any of those distractions be removed? And do you want to share any of them that other people might have? You don't have to.
Well, most of them are family
Okay.
distractions, which that's fine. That's life. So just have to work on my schedule. I got my mornings pretty much locked in. I don't get bothered, so I can get a lot of work done in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the evening, I do a little bit of catch up, and Sundays I'll do some catch up. So it's been fine. It's been rocky, but I'm getting through it.
Do you find it's difficult to get back into the flow if you have a family deal, or do you think that you should do your work before even opening that can of worms? Or like, I have that issue too. So just wondering how you deal with, let's say something comes up family related. I think it's pretty challenging to get back into the flow of anything eBay related because it's pretty distracting, but I don't know how you deal with it.
Yeah, especially with my 50 a day, I have to get up. I mean, that's what I'm working on right now, is to be my goal throughout the summer. Is now that I'm on desktop, I can get over 1,000 drafts, and that's going to be helpful. And I'm gonna use like Sundays to heavy load up my draft bank, because I tried that last week and I loaded up like 80 listings on my draft bank. Plus I got my 50. So I did like over 100 that day, 130. So I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna start doing that, start loading up my draft bank on Sundays.
A draft bank of 50 for 2 weeks is pretty significant. That's
Oh, yeah.
900 listings. If you had a full one and
Yeah.
wanted to take 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, my goal is to get over 1,000.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
And how many listings are live now?
12,000, I think, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going good. I need to raise my ASP. I'm working on that this year too. That way I can get some more income coming
Okay.
in. So yeah, that's gonna be my process through this year is just ASP and get my draft bank built up and master that 50 a day. So
All
I
right.
pretty much got it. I mean, I've hit it like 99% of the time. There's probably been last 9 months, I've probably only missed maybe 10 days. I got like 30 to 40, but
Mhm.
yeah, 99% of the time I've hit the 50. So,
Or is there any insights from the days that you didn't hit it?
yeah, it's just family issues that come up and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the draft bank comes in handy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, it's been almost a year. That's 9 months, and you've only
Yeah.
so that's right on the money. That's like basically you taking 10 days is around 2 weeks. That's a normal amount of time that you get at
Yeah, and
work.
if I had a healthy draft bank, I'll be able to hit my 50 every day, no problem.
Yep.
Because I can knock out, I can knock out 30, no problem. Like you said, and that's why I'm gonna use Sunday for. I'm gonna use a Sunday to like maximize. That way, my minimum gets higher. Because I've noticed that too. Like my maximum was 50, and 30 is easy now. And so if I start doing 80 on Sunday, 50 will be easy for me. So that's my plan going forward.
Oh, I guess Jen is asking how many sales do you have per day?
Through fourth quarter, I was hitting 30 average today, and it was bringing in good income. And then once first quarter came through, I was down to 22 a day. That's when I started hitting the panic button. And I tried to list. I made that mistake of trying to list more, and my system started breaking. I started like adding, I think I got up to like 60 a day, and yeah, just that little bit starts breaking your systems for sure. It's kind of weird. Just a little bit just breaks your system. So I reset and just started concentrating on my ASP instead, and
Got
that's been more helpful.
How do you feel about the quality of your existing store? Like, are there mistakes in there? Are there things you can do to improve it?
Yeah, and my sell-through is, I mean, I'm in collectibles, so my sell-through is a little bit slower than clothing. I mean, I got like my 90-day, I think it gets out like 2,300 sales, and I have over like 12,000 listings. So, but I feel like a lot of those items are slower sellers, so, but I don't have like really old items in there. The oldest one's probably 3 years old. So,
Okay.
but yeah, and yeah, it's something I'm doing too. I'm working through some of my old listings when I'll do one tote a day, work through that because I'm implementing that SKU system too right now. So that's how I'm doing it. Just going through the oldest bin and putting the new SKU system into it. So doing the sequential SKU system that you guys suggested, which is working good. I know that noticed the benefits in that too. So
All right.
the items are a lot easier to pick, once I get it all done. So it'll be a great system for me as well.
All right. I noticed that there's like 2,000 people in the group, but only like 30 or 40 have shown progress pictures. And I think that's like 95% of learning how to do eBay is just being able to watch yourself do it. I learned more from filming myself do it than any other thing I've done. Just be able to look at what can be improved, and your videos are so helpful. Let's go to Jeremy. Jeremy, what's up? How long do you want eBay to take you each day, and how long does it take now?
I'd like to try to get it done in about 3.5 hours. Right
Okay.
now I'm at about the 5 to 6. We've recently had some major shakeups, just transitions. We've relocated. So reestablishing and kind of moving your store, your inventory, and then setting up your workflow. You just got to get those processes and systems in place. And that's one of the things that, these daily calls and text calls on Tuesday really helps to reinforce, because you can list and you can set the bins out. But if you don't have your processes in place, that 5 to 6 listings a day, that's pretty manageable. But once you start pushing 15, 20 and above, it's really hard to have that flow if you're not organized. So that's been where we're at through that. But we're getting there. So, and we've made progress because we had to put the store on hold. My father-in-law passed away, so that taking care of the family, we had to put it all on hold for a little bit. So now we're trying to get back into that, because this is what we do full time. So this has been a progress for us. But I'd like to try to get it done in 3.5 hours, and that's putting up 15 listings a day, cleaning up some of the older listings, which we're definitely working through that at about 15 a day. And then just working on the inventory system, getting out the sales from the night before, and then the sourcing opportunities as well. So.
Okay. So I just thought of something. You were mentioning that systems start to break at a certain point, and Seth also mentioned that. So I think right now, regardless of what level you are at listening to this call, everyone should be able to have the capacity to do 30 an hour. I'm sorry, not an hour, 30 per day. In the listing processing part, let's call it 4 hours. If you have the capacity, like how to do 30 in 4 hours, then you can do 10 or 15 or 5 or 20, and it's easy. But I think a lot of people set their goals at like what they could do, and that's not how you should set your goals unless you like failing, because that's way too hard. You don't want to set your goal at what you can do. You want to set your goal at what's extremely likely. So it needs to be well below your actual capacity. If you can lift 100 pounds and your goal is 10 a day, that's really easy. But if you've never lifted 100 pounds before and at your goal, it's too hard. So I want everyone to think of the capacity of 30 a day, just knowing how to do 30 a day. Because if you know how to do that, then you will be able to adjust to whatever your schedule is. And I think that's like Seth is very consistent at 50. He said on a bad day, he's doing 30. I think when you have systems that are set up like that, then it's not as worrisome. So I think everyone write down, how do I do 30 a day? Even if your goal is 5 a day, I think it's important to understand what it takes, because I understand the mechanics of doing 300 a day. So that's why I think maybe a smaller goal doesn't seem so intimidating. And then when the larger your goal, the easier it is to not get distracted. Small goals under 30, very, very easy to miss your goal, because anything can take you off task. But if you have a huge goal, nothing will stop you. So it's really actually it's interesting, right? The bigger the goal, the easier it is to hit it. So Mark is saying that his cha-ching sound doesn't work anymore. I disabled my cha-ching in like 2018. So like you should remove all notifications on your phone minus phone calls and texts from important people, and then just don't train yourself to get happy when you get a sale. Train yourself to get happy when you're done with your listing goal. Do the tech thing where you go raise your hands and you're done. That should be your reward, not the cha-ching. Because if you do that every day, you'll have plenty of cha-chings. All right, Cheryl, let's talk about it. Why does it make you tired mentally to do the 30?
I struggle with, I just realized this the other day. I struggle with the keywords aspect of making my listing. Just coming up with the words really is the problem. I'm not really sure why it's an issue, but
you mean filling out all the 80 word title?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of sell similar, so that helps. But like I was talking to somebody yesterday, I don't feel like I search the way that you and Tech teach to do the titles. And the way that, you know, eBay's algorithm works, I don't feel like I search that way. So it makes it harder for me to pick the right words to put in.
Okay, I'm gonna write this down. That seems like something that's, let's see, keyword mental tiring. Okay, so this is good because I'm gonna try to relate something, Cheryl. So I have now a new girl named Christy who's excellent at her job, but doesn't know keywords. Okay, so as an example, I think when you're doing a whatnot stream, the more keywords you present, the more the customer will pay. And it's the same for anything. If you are on QVC and you said, this widget has 500 cool things about it, and you talk about all 500 cool things and you fill the hour, people are going to buy it. But she doesn't know. She's like, this is a blue pair of jeans, right? She's like, I know it's blue because I'm not colorblind, and I know it's jeans because I wear them, but how do I learn the rest of it, right? So it takes time, because for me, I can say the fit, I can say the style. So I can say boot cut, straight, or skinny. I can talk about the different kinds of skinny jeans. I can talk about what they're also called, maybe cigarette, maybe ankle jeans. I can say the wash is dark, medium, or light. I can say if there's any stretch or not in the waistband, right? I can measure the cuff, the waist measurement, the inseam measurement. I can say, is it low, medium, or high rise? I can talk about how women's pockets are more shallow than men's pockets. I can talk about if it has an ornate design on the back, maybe that's the profile picture. So people can see if it's like what they want to show off is appropriate for the price that they're paying for these jeans. You can talk about, is this a popular brand to resell, what to match with? You can know who normally wear these types of jeans. So the more you become an expert in your niche, that becomes less tiring. But it's tiring in the beginning because you don't know. But once you know everything about it, you don't have to. You can think of I bet if the title was 200 characters, Tech might be able to fill it up because he just has been doing it for so long. There's so many different things. Yesterday, this is such a great conversation. Last week, I went to go to a t-shirt wholesaler, and Christine came with me, and the guy was explaining his inventory. And afterwards, she's like, I've never been so tired. Listening to him talk about the item specifics of 2,000 t-shirts for 2 hours was exhausting. It's really hard. You have to learn what cotton, what is the percentage made of it, where is it from, why is it significant, why is the typeface like this, what was in style during that decade. It literally is exhausting. I was like, I have to leave now. It's too much. So then I came back, and yesterday he came over and he was going over the stuff. And it was just so much. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to remember any of this stuff while presenting it. So we're going to have to make notes. And I think if you want to get a sale, most of the time you need to know all the item specifics, because this is the equivalent of what do you recommend to eat. If you go to a restaurant, you can tell how good the restaurant is, in my opinion, by the server's ability to tell you what to eat. If you ask what's good here and they don't know, that restaurant's probably horrible. They should have an idea of what it is and what goes well with what, or they can say, what do you like? Do you like savory? Do you like sweet? And then when you're focused on the customer and you start thinking, what would they want to know? Like the thigh measurement, I've never asked thigh measurement for a pair of pants ever. Right. And if you're under a size 12 in women's, you probably don't ask for that measurement. But if you're curvier, you would. So in plus size clothing, maybe you do offer more item specifics. And of course, it's mentally draining. Every time you learn a new category, it's mentally draining. That's why we're trying to teach people to stick in one niche. Although, I mean, think about how complicated so many of these categories are. Shoes, like low, medium, high top. You have some shoes are meant with no laces. Some have 2 sets of laces. What is the purpose of that? Some have removable insoles, some don't. Some fit totally different than normal, even within the same brand. Like a Nike sneaker will fit different than a Nike walking shoe. And you're trying to reduce returns. So the more you know about it, the more you can talk about it and the less exhausting it is. But I have found that if you are committed to learning, if you have processes in place, that's better than being keyword fluent. So this is like, as an example, one of my ladies knows every single item specific on earth, everything. And I'm going to let her go because she's too random. She's so random. So I can't handle it. It takes too long to get she's always thinking like, what if this, what if that, instead of, but what does the customer want? And I think if we can all stop doing that, thinking about what we want and just think about what the customer wants, it would save all this time, because it's too much. Yeah, she's not me, because I'm lazier than that. She like really does wonder. So if she worked on eBay full time, she would be a 1 to 5 listing a day person. It would just take too long. She knows every single thing about it. So, okay, one more thought. Sorry, this is me turning it into a what is it called? Monologue. Okay. The people who know the most about the product sometimes are not good at selling it. They get so stuck into it versus like, what does the customer need to know to make a decision? So for example, when I am selling a car, I'm like, what do you need the car for? Right? If you're selling a shirt, what do they need to shoot the shirt for? Is it for a wedding? Okay, a wedding shirt's different. That better be ironed, steamed, maybe on a mannequin. Maybe you put it on something so people can see what it looks like. If you're buying a dress for a wedding, that has a way higher ASP. It's not uncommon for a woman to spend $100 to $400 for a dress to go to a wedding, right? But it's very uncommon to spend $100 to $400 for a dress to wear to a barbecue with only her dog. It's different, right? That might not require that. So the item specifics only matter to what the customer needs to make a decision. Sometimes too much information would slow it down. If you have a 3D interactive video with your items, you might have less sales and it would take more time to make that. But you're like, oh, I have the customer in mind. I want them to put on VR goggles and hold it up in the sun. That's cool, but then maybe they can't make a decision now because it's too hard. So either or is the best type of decision to make that always leads to yes. Like, okay, do you want to buy 1 item from my store or 2 items from my store? That's like, if you can get customers thinking like that, then it's a lot easier. I always thought about things that don't matter and don't help the customer make a decision, like white background versus not white background doesn't help the customer make a better decision. That's why it doesn't matter. So Cheryl, you do not need to use all the keywords. That's true. You don't. You only need the keywords to help the customer make a decision. I don't know if that helps you reduce the fatigue.
So it's not a problem to put material type or like one of the, for example, people like 100% cotton. So putting that into a title for a t-shirt might be a great idea because people might actually search for that.
People might search cotton, but they might not search modal cotton, or maybe they do, because that's like, I heard on Michelle's call, it's a special cotton. Maybe they might look for it, but I think maybe like 5 words out of the title might be 80% of the sale. So don't worry so much about the rest.
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
So like, for instance, when you're comparing items and you go into eBay and you type in men's extra large t-shirt, and then all of a sudden you get 1,000 t-shirts pop up. It just seems like you get more bang for the buck with the fewer, more targeted keywords rather than trying to fill up the entire descriptor. So I've kind of, with that search engine optimization stuff, I've got some programming languages in my background. So I'm thinking, why does it have to be so many when it seems like most customers will type in black t-shirt or, whatever? Are they really niching down to that infinite level of, the type of cotton and all of that, or is less more in this case?
So you pick up a few more sales if you have keywords that happen upon what somebody is looking for, but most of the time you do not. It's just the main keywords, and then people do the tech model of, okay, there's 10 black shoes, which one is the coolest for the best price, right? And that doesn't require necessarily a keyword there. The keywords, what they do, maybe this is a good way to help people. It allows you to rank differently. If what you type in is exactly what the customer searched, it'll be number 1. Right? But since people search all differently, when you have a whole bunch of different words, you give yourself a greater opportunity to match what they're looking for. But you also lower the opportunity of getting exactly what they type. So that's kind of your question, Jeremy. Because if somebody typed in Hanes black t-shirt, if you wanted the guarantee number 1 search, you would have to also put in Hanes black t-shirt. Exactly.
Right.
So the longer words, you're actually matching it less, but you might pick up somebody that says breathable. Go ahead.
The other thing that keywords matter is it's in the, not that it's, I don't know how important it is, but the hell's it called, value listing report or whatever.
Yeah,
the thing
listing
that
quality
tells
report.
us listing quality report just says how many keywords do you have. So I'm guessing the more keywords you have, the higher you end up in the search rankings, probably even regardless of whether or not they're totally valuable. Because I think it tells eBay that you're a better seller that knows what they're doing more. And then they will give you more traffic as a result of that. But again, all of this is just hypotheses.
Yeah, in theory, according to the listing quality report, a higher quality listing has more keywords. That's what
I understand that from an algorithm standpoint, but when you go in and you just type in a general search for whatever cameras, I was looking at cameras the other day. So the more specific I got, the fewer options I was actually able to get.
That's right.
When I just made it totally like Canon camera as opposed to, like a DSLR and the type, then I got more of a selection. I actually found some of the ones that I was looking for. So I don't know if that is a seller error and that they're not actually doing it the way eBay wants, and eBay's just like, hey, I'll just whatever. But it seems as if some of the more targeted, fewer keywords will get you a better search result than those elongated item descriptions. And I know you're trying to pick and piece. It's only like people, like at a buffet, will take a little bit of everything and search for it. Others will go right to the whatever they want in the main course and just load up on that. So it's just one of those things where it just seems like the fewer keywords that I put in a search result, I get more of an opportunity to see a product as opposed to those elongated titles. And that's where I've just been scratching my head. And that's why those processes that I was talking about earlier is when I'm doing my item descriptions, you know, I try to fill up and have 0 words at the 0 spaces remaining. But I don't know if that's helping or hurting because of the way when I go in and search, if I get that drilled down, I get very few product offerings. Whereas if I just go extremely limited, I could get a tremendous amount of more opportunity to search from.
Okay, I want to share something with you guys, and I'm going to make a video on this shortly. But yesterday I was talking to an auto parts seller, and I looked up the Chevy Silverado tail light as an example. Okay, so I think the best way to learn what keywords are important is to look at replenishable sellers that rely on keywords to sell their items. So I'm going to show you guys an example right now. Here's the Chevy Silverado tail lights. There's different kinds for this. I'm assuming this truck's very popular. I don't know if maybe it's number 2 under the F-150, right? So here are the lights. You can see every single key title is jam-packed with every single word they can think of that a customer might search for. These are highly optimized. So here's 2,619 sold for one tail light. So they're using every single kind of word, and you'll notice that they use left and right, the top sellers, because somebody might search for a left one or a right one. So if you really want to crush it, you would have both. So all the ones that do really well. So get how crazy this is. $500,000 worth of Chevy Silverado taillights sell every month. That's crazy to me. Okay, that's just one. That's like bigger than some used clothing categories. Just this one tail light for one truck. That's how many of these break. So I was looking at this, and there's like some ridiculous insights that I was learning from talking to this person. So first off, 40% of all sales on eBay, I should save this for the Patreon group. I'll save the in-depth stuff. But 40% of all sales happen on the first page. So let's look at this. I want to show you guys how significant that is. There's 35,000 listings, right, for Chevy Silverado taillights. 40% of the sales are this first page, which is only 60 items. Is that not crazy? Half the sales. So, okay, there's 35,000 listings. The first 60 get 40% of the sales. Is that not ridiculous? That means 34,000 plus listings get the other half. So it's really critical to get on this first page. And these are all, if you want to look at how to totally crush it, you would look at replenishable sellers jam-packing every.
Hey Chris, how do we get on that first page?
That's what the whole point of this group is, my friend.
Right.
But no, that's a good question. This is how you do it. So let's look at this one right here on the top left. If you do free shipping, free returns, you do go up, right? Because those both rank, although we recommend in the group, do not do free shipping. If you have more than one, if you have a promotion, you show up. So here, this person's got an 8% discount. If you have a sponsored listing, you show up. So you can pay for this placement with promoted listings. Most keywords, great picture. That's probably what the truck looks like. Right? So let's look at the top non-sponsored one. It's this one. $1,023 sold of this tail light, right? So these are the keywords. They've already done the hard work for you. That's how you should list it. Take these keywords if you find one. Also, this is totally pissing me off, but this word for is total BS because I got suspended on eBay. I'm not sure exactly why, but this word for allows you to use the word Chevy Silverado, which pisses me off. So you could just make these in China and then put for Chevy Silverado, and apparently you're fine. But you didn't get permission from Chevy to post this. You don't own the word GMC or Sierra or Silverado, but apparently you add this word for, and now you can post it. It's kind of annoying to me.
Would that apply to things like printer cartridge for HP?
If the brand doesn't come after, the brand can come after you, all of these listings, because you do not have permission. It's really annoying. Like, you could put this keychain for Coach bag, right? You have a frog keychain that you made in China for $1, and you say this is for the Coach. This is for vintage Coach bags. Put the word for, and if Coach is not one of those brands that would come after you, you'd be fine. Although Coach would come after you because that's BS. But that's what these listings are. I can't believe that this exists.
But Chris, you have to think about it in the sense that when someone's saying for Chevy Silverado, in a car sense, that is helping the customer find what they need because they need to know it works with that specific car. Whereas if you're selling a keychain or whatever, technically that's for any bag. It doesn't matter what bag it goes to, unless it's like a very specific keychain for that bag.
What if your keychain says Coach is awesome? That's only for Coach bags.
Right. Well, that's a little bit different, but like I think it matter in this sense. Chevy wouldn't go after them because they know that they're helping sales because people know they can get parts for that Chevy car they can easily find it.
They're not helping Chevy. They're taking sales away from Chevy.
Right, but like it's too big of a market. Like it's not worth it for Chevy to go after all these like smaller parts. So they could, but
I think
in most cases they won't.
That's the part that makes reselling so fuzzy. It's not worth it for them to come after you. It doesn't mean that that's right. I can't believe the word for is because like the reason why I bring that up is somebody earlier asked, should I use size SZ or the word size SIZE? And Daniel, that's interesting because both of those words rank. Size SIZE and SZ is in the shoe category too. Some people religiously use SZ. I've seen people use S, even though that to me as a customer, that's confusing. I don't know what S means. But SZ, SIZE, depending on what you sell, those words might actually rank. So as an example, when I'm looking at this listing, I'm actually looking for the most common words. So one thing I find interesting here is this person didn't put right and left in the title. I personally would put both right and left in here, but red makes sense, rear makes sense, tail lights make sense. I almost think tail lights should be also put in here as one word. Then pair. I don't know if people search for pair, but maybe they do. And I don't know if this is 80 characters or not. Actually, let's see. "76 characters. Okay. So he this is just so annoying to me that this can exist. And yeah, maybe it's not worth Chevy's time to come after this person, but this is a lot of money. You know what I mean? This is what is that? That's $50,000 on one listing of all stealing from Chevy. Right? They did not authorize these. So that's amazing. I know, right? So I think that's John saying this is like a Chevy advertisement. At least they removed the Chevrolet from the truck, the back of it. At least they photoshopped that off. But this, you know what truck this is. I think most people know what truck this is. Oh, this is a great picture. So this is a great user experience. Actually, I agree with you. This is exactly what the customer wants and not what, like, this is a listing that's very, very optimized. Free listing, free fast shipping and free returns, has 464 watchers, which is insane. And then Yeah, it's just like, this is enough room to figure out how to get it manufactured. You know what I mean? But
I think
these
when
are
it
all
comes to
good. Go
I
ahead.
think when it comes to keywords, you have to think about it as there are some customers that are going to use short keyword descriptions for exactly what Jeremy was talking about because they want a bigger selection and they realize, whether consciously or subconsciously, not everyone is going to put certain words in the title for what they look for. So they'll
Yeah.
use the item specifics, some of them,
Yeah.
to then narrow it down if they're like, okay, this is too much, I need to narrow it down. Whereas other customers are like, I'm going to put exactly what I want in the title. And if it doesn't show up, that's too bad. I don't care if it was something better is already there. I don't want to search too long. I just want, this is what I want. So you need to optimize both for both people as much as you can, depending on what your item is. So you need to have those like basic words that everyone's searching for. And you also want to have those more specific words that those like the people who are looking for very specific things are going to include. And you need to like, it's what's hard is that sometimes you want to include words that are in the item specifics that you don't technically need to put in the title, because it'll help you rank higher because everyone is searching for those. So eBay will rank your thing higher if you put those. Whereas you also sometimes want words that aren't in the item specifics because people are looking for those. And you want to make sure that you grab the people that are putting those specific words in the title. And that's kind of the tricky part that I've been trying to figure out is what is the right combination of like commonly searched words that you want to rank highest because everyone's using them, and like the more niche smaller things that apply to your specific item. Especially I'm in clothing, so there's all kinds of like weird specifics, like maybe you have a graphic where there's a special word and someone might be searching for that special word or special color or whatever. That's not in the item specifics, but someone, if you don't put that specific word, it won't show up in search. And someone who doesn't care, who doesn't want to like just search for orange, but they want a certain kind of orange, they're not going to take the time to look at all the different oranges trying to find the right orange.
Hey, Chris.
You're muted, Chris.
Is Jeremy still here? I want to show something before I go to Isaiah. Okay, he's here. All right, look at my search. Chevy Silverado taillights, very short, right? This is what a customer might look for. And it pulled up all these jam-packed titles. And I get it, because sometimes if you type in, let's type in, what are those mugs called? Ray Dunn mug. You'll see some stupid titles ranked like you choose. You choose is not an optimized keyword, okay? And see, look down here. Ray Dunn mugs, Dad and Father's Day. See how that's short and sweet? It's all right, but it's showing up because you can also show up higher with auctions. But there's a lot to it. But I'm just saying, if you want to do eBay like to the max, you would study the replenishable listings because those are the listings that sell hundreds or thousands of the same thing. Isaiah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So the way I usually think about keywords is the first like 5 or so, like the front loaded keywords. Those are usually the ones that I'm trying to utilize to get the search placement. So that would be like Nike Air Force One, women's size 8, right? Ideally, anyone who's looking for women's size 8 shoes, as well as anyone who's looking for Nike Air Force Ones, would find my listing. Those are the primary people I'm trying to sell to. Furthermore, like, but the rest of my keywords, I usually utilize them to like give the customer more information about the item. I think that's kind of the relevancy for those rather than like trying to place better in search, because those other keywords tell you that the shoe is white. It tells you that this is a low top sneaker. It tells you that the style is classic, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't really try to utilize, like, I'm not trying to pull people necessarily who are looking for those last 5 keywords. I just use those last 5 to tell you more about the item. So like, what's your perspective on that, I guess? because I don't see why you would try to pull someone with those last five. That's why I don't really keyword spam my titles.
I personally, when I sold shoes, did not use the word size because I wanted to try to add in another. I'd rather put in like a second.
But it's only 4 characters, so it's really hard to get a relevant keyword if you did take out size and then put something else in there. Like what relevant keyword would you put there? There's a different reason why I put it there, but like you know how some people put like fire emojis are rare on their thing.
Yep.
Like I think that there's relevance in that as well. Like when it comes to specific items, I don't think it works on your J Crew t-shirt, but it works.
true.
No,
Go ahead, Thomas.
there is no relevance to putting fire emojis in unless you're selling a fire emoji.
No.
Personally, I think there's far too much dialogue about this because I think really the first, again, this is just my hypothesis. The first few words are the ones that matter. That's what we're taught in this group. That's what matters. As long as you get the first ones together, that's what matters. If you fill out the item specifics that are relevant, people will find the item.
Mhm.
If you you aim for the lowest common denominator, because I think all of us have been on eBay and seen people message us with the dumbest shit and the stupidest words and the worst punctuation. And that's kind of just how you have to go. Smart people will search on eBay and they'll find the item they're looking for by going through the item specifics and taking a minute to search for stuff. You want to be on the top of the search rankings, but it's not totally tied exclusively to the number of keywords you have. If it was tied exclusively to the number of keywords and how you structured everything, Tech would sell 2,000 items a day. But he doesn't because eBay throttles your traffic, eBay throttles your sales. The listing that had that Chevy Silverado taillight listing sells a whole bunch of stuff, not only because it's optimized, but because it's probably several years old and has had a proven track record of sales. It has 400 watchers on it, but there's someone in the group I know that has a very specific item. They have a variation listing, and it has over 1,500 watchers. It's been up for a year and a half, and the reason that it has really good sales velocity is because it's been up for so long and because it has a lot of sales. This is why a lot of people, especially replenishable sellers, don't want to end a listing. They'd rather have the out of stock option, so that if they go out of stock, they don't lose all the watchers, they don't lose the sale velocity that it's had on it. So getting really excited about the last of the keywords that you have and structuring everything correctly is kind of, in my mind, a waste of time. As long as you have your item specifics filled out and you fill the 80 characters.
Especially if you only have one. So Thomas is right. As long, like, let me give you guys an example based on why it doesn't matter so much to go so deep into it. And let's use Isaiah's example. As an avid Air Force One expert, I would search Nike Air Force One and then probably select size. Although, okay, this is interesting. Let me type in 12. So there's 84,000 Air Force Ones. Let's type in 12 because I might search for my size, right? That's 8,200. So there's 10% of them are size 12, right? So that was 8,200. But let me come down here and click 12. There's only 5,400. So there's 2,800 people who marked the wrong size or didn't put 12 in the title. So that's the most important part. At least put 12 in the title so that I like these ones don't have 12 in the title.
Is that because they had multi-quantity size though?
A lot of them, yeah.
Listing, I'm guessing.
That's right. That's why I recommend if you have more than one shoe in a different size. I mean, if you have a full size run, they'll list them all separately. And I would, let's see, let's look at the top one, see if they used.
Do you see how that listing right there says new in hand?
Yeah.
Go down like 2.
I saw it.
Yeah, like right, like I think that's relevant information because if you didn't have it in hand, like people would want to know. They don't want to buy in order of it. And people who buy like shoes consistently, would want to know that information. Like it's a keyword that isn't like people aren't typing into the search new in hand, but it tells you more about the item, which is where the relevancy comes. That's what I'm
It's
talking
very-
about on those last ones.
But it's also good enough, is what Thomas was saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's also at the end, and it's very specific for, you know, a shoe that people like. If you're gonna have a J. Crew shirt, you don't need to put in hand rare fire emoji, prayer hands. Like none of that
Exactly.
matters because it's a stupid J. Crew shirt.
That's totally
Also,
right.
I expect that if you're selling an item and it's on eBay, unless it's like the Nas X, you know, demon shoes that released that day, I expect you to have that item in hand. You know, if you just have a listing up and like you're gonna get it in the next week, like take the listing down. I'm ordering an item expecting you to have it in hand. So for you to say like in hand, I'm not the lowest common denominator, but it just seems like an absolute waste of keywords because that's something that I would assume I would assume you already have it.
I'm gonna give you one
that
more
doesn't work
example.
for every.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that
right.
doesn't-
I was
Right.
just gonna say, unless the shoe hadn't been released yet, you know, that's like the rare time. Like some people get that, friends and family, they get their hands on it early. That's where that terms came from. But most people got an Air Force One in hand, a white Air Force.
Let's look for a specific one, right? Then we'll go to Michael. Here's a specific one, right? If I'm looking for an Air Force One Michael Lau, there's only one on all of eBay. Out of 84,000, there's only one pair, right? So this is where in like this listing, not optimized, doesn't really matter. There's a dash in it. The only word that you would type in as a search is just that. You could have just this title and no other words and people would find it because they're looking for this. I'm looking for this shoe. So I would I'm not actually looking for the shoe, but this is the
When you look at most like Jordan 1, Jordan 4 sales, they're pretty much just that.
yeah,
Like that's the title for the shoe.
that's right. Michael, did you have a question?
I did. I guess I wanted to make a quick comment first regarding the in hand. So it really is, I think, item specific. Because for instance, on Legos, that's the new ones that come out. A lot of people will put in hand because they're hard to get a hold of. And so people are specifically looking to get those as quickly as they can, if not early. So that is relevant for certain items, I think. And I do occasionally do that if I do have a very hot, very new product that is hard to get a hold of. That way, people know that you're not going to buy something and then have to wait a month to get it. That's that. So just very specific to that. The other thing I had was regarding keywords. So my question is, so I'll fill out the item title and I'll follow the brand, item, gender, stuff like that. But then at the end, I'm like, so if it's like I don't know, I put up a rugby shirt the other day or a golf shirt the other day. And so at the end, I'm kind of running out of words to put because, you can only describe a Nike golf shirt in so many ways. So I'll throw on there like PGA or maybe a golfer or two's name, something like that to try to key off of that. I don't know if that's helping or hurting. I mean, I'm so new. I don't have numbers to back that up to whether or not that works. That's just what I've been trying.
Don't worry too much about it. Again, like the main keywords are going to matter to get you on the front page. And I wouldn't overstress it. And the people have been mentioning like in hand. I recommend for rare limited items, if you're going to be playing that game, the best way to show people is to take a picture of the item with the date, like you are holding the pair of shoes with. Speaking as a former eBay shoe seller, if you want to sell the really hype stuff and you show a picture of you holding it with a date or the newspaper, that's how you really show you have it today. Because even those pictures that say, even if it says in hand in the title and it's a stock picture, that's still like you're trying to go all out, get all the money, show you in line with the receipt at the store buying it. Then you get all the credibility. You can put in hand, you could put actually have it in the title, and it's good. If it's the Louis Vuitton Off-White Air Force release that day, you could just put Louis Vuitton Air Force One. There's only one of those. or maybe a couple, then put see picture of me holding it in the title, and that's fine because it's so rare. But Thomas is right. Most of us still use JPEG.
You probably wouldn't need to do that if it's that type of an item. 'Cause people are probably just refreshing fucking LV sneaker all day.
Yeah.
But like, so a StockX receipt showing that it's authentic, that would count as like an invoice, right?
No, right, Thomas. We're not gonna dig that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Not even gonna respond to that video. But I appreciate everyone. We're gonna go to the beginner call now with Isaiah. If y'all are watching this on YouTube, smash the like button and join our mentorship group where we do this bundle of fun every single day. I appreciate you guys and